Hi, Foothills family. Today we pick back up in Mark chapter 12. Jesus is in the temple and he's addressing the religious authority, and he speaks a parable of a man who owned a vineyard. He planted and built it out. He goes on a journey and he sends in the harvest time a messenger to come and receive his share of the produce. Will they resist the messenger, beat him up, and send him back empty-handed? And the owner continues to send more messengers, and this continues to happen, even some of them being killed. And after many messengers being sent, the owner sends his son, whom is killed and cast out of the vineyard. And then Jesus says in verse 9, what will the owner of the vineyard do? He'll come and destroy the vine growers and will give the vineyard to others. And so we know that the vineyard represented Israel, the people of God, and the vine growers were the religious authorities over them. And the owner was God, and the son was Jesus, who had been sent, who would be rejected and crucified. And so the message of the parable is that these guys were stealing God's produce. They were taking what God set up to bear fruit for him and making it about their interests and their benefit. Kind of along the same line as in Mark 11, where Jesus cursed the fig tree for not producing fruit, and also where he cleansed the temple and said that they had made it a den of robbers rather than a house of prayer. Then Jesus quotes Psalm 118. In verse 10 it says, have you not even read the scripture that the stone which the builders rejected, this became the chief cornerstone? Now, the people who ought to have recognized and received the Messiah were the religious authority. They knew the scriptures. They were the ones who should have known him and received him. However, they would reject him. And the cornerstone means that Jesus was someone who's going to start something new. The cornerstone is what you start a new building with. And so God wanted to build a new thing, a new house, a living temple, the church. And he would set up a leadership that would be faithful to the Son, that would be faithful to build on the cornerstone. Now, it's easy to look at the faithless vine growers and the builders and not really connect with them. However, truth is we need to be aware of the same tendencies in us. They had expectations that they thought God would fulfill. They had plans that they were hoping that the Messiah would further. And we also have expectations of how Jesus is going to work in our life, how he's going to answer our prayers, how he's going to fulfill the promises that he makes. We have plans that we think are good and that we'd hope that he will help further. However, just like them, our expectations can be pretty far off at times. And really, we shouldn't be surprised because our ability to understand on a human level is so far from God's wisdom. And also in the same way that they wanted to preserve what they had, the benefits, the status, and all of that, it's easy for us to go into self-preservation mode and to feel threatened by Jesus and what he might do and how he might work and what he might ask of us. And we went in thinking we know it's going to cost us and we're willing. However, then comes the price that we didn't expect to pay, or the situation that was unwanted that we didn't think God would allow. Well, what effect did this parable and rebuke have? It just made them madder and made them want to get rid of the Son even more. But because his popularity with the crowds there prevented them from getting at him directly, they sent, in typical fashion, they sent people to try to trap him in a question. And he answers the questions with such amazing wisdom that it had the opposite effect. They didn't want to ask him more questions. The crowd was enthralled by his answers. However, there was a scribe who seemed to have a sincere question and came and asked Jesus, what is the foremost of the commandments? And Jesus, giving his answer, that it was to love God with all your heart, soul, and strength, the scribe wholeheartedly embraced that as a good answer. And Jesus replies to the scribe and says, you're not far off from the kingdom of God. And it's an important point made that just simply agreeing with Jesus and not having opposition toward him isn't entering the kingdom of God. It can get you close. But receiving Jesus as Lord and building on him as the cornerstone is really what it takes. And this guy is right there on the fence. Well, Mark chapter 12 finishes with Jesus giving an individual great praise. It starts with a rebuke to the religious authority. Then it goes into a guy who's on the fence, and Jesus saying, man, you're close. And then giving heartfelt praise to a poor widow. When Jesus was in the treasury observing people bringing their gifts, some gifts were rather large. Jesus noticed a widow giving just a couple copper coins, not worth very much. It would take 128 of these coins to make a full day's wage. Well, Jesus calls his disciples together. He's marveling, saying, look at that widow. Do you see that over there? Do you see what's going on right there? She's putting in everything. She's giving it all out of her poverty. And who was she that Jesus would call his disciples together, marvel, that we would be talking about this woman today? Who was she? Well, we can know that she was someone who had great faith. But I want you to think about, as one with great faith, wouldn't she possibly struggle with the idea of, God, why would you allow this to happen to me? To be unprotected, to have no provisions. And yet we see her embracing the situation and going all in dependence upon God in a time of her greatest felt need. And we can probably agree that no one had as much of an impact. There's a lot of important people in the temple that day, but no one has had as much of an impact as that poor widow. And in this time of shutdown, some of you are facing a situation that was unexpected, unwanted, and it's hard for you to embrace. But just as the widow felt her need at that time more than ever, desperately needed God to come through, you may be in that position. And just as her, that moment defined her. That moment, in ways she could never anticipated, brought such a great reward from God. And so today, let's search our heart, and let's see if there's any way that we've been resisting Jesus, the Messiah, and the way that he's revealed himself, the way that he is working and answering prayers, his timing, the way he's fulfilling promise, the way he's being a cornerstone that's requiring us to let go of what we were trying to build in order to get on board with the new thing that he's building in our life. And can we maybe have a shift of attitude to be grateful for an opportunity because of our circumstances to go all in dependence on God, to let go of any sense of control that we may have had previously, and to begin to build on him, the cornerstone, trusting he's involved and can reward us through that. God bless you, Foothills family.